Hey dudes, it's your friend, the Reverend Pirate Frog. Come join me in the circle with my bearded brother, Howlingbuds, the poet laureate himself, Stoney Alpinist, and of course, the better half of Frapple and my friend, Johnny Apple. Pass to the left and let's have some fucking fun.
Thank you again, Howling, for hosting this episode.
That time has not come back around yet.
I thought you...
Is there not a new
calendar year, right? I mean...
No. In fact, I'm going to call you out before I even introduce you. Your calendar says January, my dear friend.
See?
I'm looking at this magnificent invention that I have, which is a calendar, and it says December 30th.
Well, somebody, we care enough about our listeners, right, to think about a little bit ahead of our community and folk. And just
so I did my one in 2024. It's not 2025 yet.
Time out. You were such a social butterfly not too long ago. I heard you had this huge get together with everybody, you two, and you didn't invite Johnny or I. So maybe in the holiday season we'll forgive you, but until then we're being a little bitter. Welcome to the circle. This is the circle. Johnny?
Beautiful transition. Hi, I'm Johnny Apple. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm
how are you?
Sorry.
I'm doing well. Hey, everyone.
Stoney. Still 2024.
No, I'm going to just say fuck 2024.
2024
fuck it all.
Garbage.
It's gone. It's garbage. It's just in the past. It's 2025, and there's something ahead of us. Absolutely something ahead of us.
It's the YAG year.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Year of the YAG. It's like
and it's the odd year.
A bad omen. A bad omen when the year the YAG shows up. It's like, oh no, the signs are all there. It's the year.
How have
YAG,
we failed you?
Someone sacrificed our child.
Oh shit! Yes. Let it be all of mine. Wait, no, that sounds like. Wait a minute. That sounds like anti-German. There's a whole bunch of. Yeah, we're gonna get canceled for saying "Let it be my kids."
I think we got canceled for Howling's love of German products anyway. Howling, I was giving you trash because you were supposed to host this podcast and you just threw it on Johnny and I with no mention. But how was your guys' little meet cute? You and Stoney and everyone else.
Yeah, so it was Jason.
Who was all there? There you go.
Back Nine Bandit. With his partner, what was it, Paranoid Grower, then Stoney, myself, Badger. He's quite a character. He's everything I hoped for and more.
A legend.
Yeah, but it was a good time. It was a good time. It was nice seeing everyone getting out of my house. I mean, I finally saw someone that only lives 15 minutes away and someone that lives an hour away. It's only taken 2 years.
15 minutes, literally. And this is the first you've met?
He only lives 15 minutes away.
And it's the first you've met?
Yeah.
No kidding.
In Howling's defense, you've seen Jay say, would you be running to run to the meet that guy? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Oh, and he was an awesome host.
I know.
We had the best pizza. I think we all kind of agreed it's the best pizza they ever tried.
You went to New York?
I was going to say, wait a minute. You're in the wrong place.
You didn't see Johnny and you...
But no,
we gotta have Flam and Grateful and Too Tall on to fucking really.
They were there.
Yeah, Grateful and Flam were there.
Yeah, they joined us virtually. So yeah, we had.
So they were unable to judge your pizza.
Time out. You invited them virtually, but you didn't invite us virtually.
I was under the haze of hash, so I mean.
That's a pretty good excuse.
I mean, I don't think I made it more than about 8 feet from the front door and sat down, and then it was just...
Yeah, you were pretty much in one spot. That was it.
Yeah, it was close to that cheese bowl the entire time.
There you go.
For a while, it just kind of got bananaed back and forth between me and Paranoid Grower, just going back and forth.
Yeah, because I noped out of it. I was done because I had to drive home, and so I was like, I have a low tolerance to begin with. So I noped out of that. I was very depressed because when do you get to sit around and just be able to smoke 2-year-old hash for free, just out of generosity? Like that doesn't fucking happen. And I was so upset. That's eventually like I might have to go home. I'm gonna start crying now. It started getting depressing.
You should have made your boy drive. 6 is old enough. Should have had him come get you.
Make River do it.
Make River do it. High enough on hash, that might have seemed like a good idea.
No,
that sounds wonderful. I'm glad.
It was.
Yeah, I'm not jealous at all.
What'd you think of it, Stoney?
It was awesome.
He hated it. It was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
The company.
What he remembers.
I still feel fuzzy from I still feel fuzzy like a Muppet from that hash all afternoon. It was just it's absolutely wonderful. I think I made the comment that I don't think the experiences that I've had with hash before, I don't think were hash of any level of comparison to what this was. I mean, this little over 2 years old Super Sun God. Did I remember it right, Howler? Because I was convinced that I was not going to remember Super Sun God, right? And it was just extremely smooth and just different. I mean, it was a new experience altogether with hash. It was really cool. I really enjoyed it, and the company was awesome. Sitting around with everybody and sharing everything. Back Nine Bandit showed up, and everyone had goodie bags. So I'm actually partaking. I'm so glad to be able to say that I got to try some of Howler's.
I'm so sorry.
Flour, yeah. Oh, geez, and then we got to share for the first time, so I was able to take some tangy with me.
I have a question, Stoney. Well, multiple questions, but this one's timely and important. When you did finally smoke some of Howling's, and it was delicious, did you die a little inside too and go, that son of a bitch?
He doesn't even know, because I didn't get the goodie bags until I got home, and I opened them up and I'm like, damn. Dynamite.
Just one
dynamite.
thing. Yeah.
Dynamite. And a collection of goodie bags, completely generous. Back Nine Bandits significant other brought a bag of goodies that has been
the gummies are all the candy's gone. My wife ate it all.
I've already had those slabs of that grape cotton candy.
Yeah, she thinks they're so awesome.
And a balm. Actually, I was starting to just get a little dehydration headache a little bit before I got started, and chugged a glass of water. And she's got a little roll-on balm that she made that was spectacular. Just put it right on my temples and rubbed it in, and now it just hurts from smiling so much with you guys. But
right.
Yeah, it totally. Yeah, it was just such an awesome experience. Like getting together with our people from our community and everyone's flower, and Jay-Saw, just his hospitality, and their significant others are spectacular. To open up their homes like that and bring treats like that, it was just awesome. And people came from far away, and like all the way down from Michigan, and it was just really awesome. It was really cool to be a part of a little community get together like that. And of course, now they already want to do more, and everyone was talking about September. So September in Chicago, I think, is going to be the key. Remember that, fellas.
Something about the wind in September. I got it.
I thought that it was
hopefully the wind will blow your hair.
Wind.
That's rain.
Yeah. That sounds wonderful, and now I'm just jealous. I was going to say the unfortunate part is I don't think Johnny got to touch on his wonderful outing either. Have you?
Yeah, we talked about it in the last episode.
Oh, did we? Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Look at that. I listened to all that shit.
Pretty much how Too Tall got raped of all his seeds.
Yeah, that's right. I remember now. I'm the only one who didn't get to meet up with anyone. This is fun. So I'll tell you a story of where I just hung out by myself. No, I'm just kidding.
You had the Alabrije meetup.
I was gonna say.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I've
you started this rigmarole.
That's why we're piggybacking on the Chicago one, dude. The Yag's third birthday. We get as many people there as we can. I was going to ask Howling and Stoney, since you were our representation at this little meetup, I'm sure you gave out plenty of Yag stickers and accoutrement and everything. Yeah. Did you actually really?
Course. Yeah, of course we did.
Dude, look at you.
Yeah, of course we did.
I was totally expecting an effort like Johnny and I would give, and you went above and beyond.
No. We all showed up ready to roll. Everyone we all exchanged, and just kind of threw them out on the table, and everyone that wanted to grab a Yag sticker can grab a Yag sticker. But it was awesome. It was just
so you left home with 5 stickers and came back with 4, and the other one was howling. 4.5. It was a dog bite.
Yeah, we should probably thank those two puppers that were there too. They kept us good company too. Great puppers. Yeah, it was a good time, man, and it was a nice drive on the way home. I'll just say that it was nice and clear. It was a little tough on the way there. Everyone kind of drove through some nastiness, some like good classic Chicago nastiness, but we were lucky. If it would have been a normal December, it would have been about 1.5 feet of snow, and none of us would have come together.
September? Normally September there's snow. Are you serious? This is the first I'm hearing this?
No, just messing with your mind. It was a normal December.
You see if you were paying attention.
I was like, dude, I think there might still be time to pay Alebrije to move it back to Los Angeles.
Matt, this is the sign of someone who's really like never left California before, when they're like, "Are you serious, dude?"
Well, no, I'm not afraid of snow, right? My sister lives in Idaho, and I visit her, and there's snow. What I'm afraid of is having to buy more snow clothes to go to Chicago. That would suck. I
might not even need to wear jeans
sandals.
Or pants, anything.
I'm not. Yeah, I was just wearing shorts and sandals. That's my plan.
Feasible.
Pack in a backpack. Live off Howling's generosity.
There's plenty of people in this area that just wear shorts all year long, so
yeah,
you could be just fine.
I hope there's not crazy people.
I hope there's not too many people living off of Howling's generosity.
Gotta have
I need all of
it.
I got a spot in the backyard for everyone to stay at.
There's space here.
Don't steal Johnny's bed and breakfast idea.
Yes, please don't. I was going to get rich off of that one.
Stay in the orchard, man. No, that's
no,
ridiculous.
But so I wanted to ask everybody. It's post Christmas now, and it's a happy New Year, everyone. This is the
apparently
year.
It's January.
So did anyone? And I'm not going to start with the most obvious question or the most obvious person to have a response to this question. So I'll start with Rev. Did you obtain anything for Christmas that might be useful in your garden this year?
Oh, dude, I did. I'm very excited. It's going to make me sound like an insane person, but the thing I'm super excited about is I got a 5-pound bag of malted barley, man. Yeah. So I am freaking set for a while. My beautiful Megan came through with me once again. She's annoyingly good at gifts too. So yet another reason for me to get upset with
she
her.
Actually paid attention to what you want, not just like you talking about.
I can assure you she did, but it wasn't by listening to this podcast. I can promise you she has not listened to a word I have said into this microphone. Nor will I encourage it. And then I also I upgraded my 2x4, my second. The Alebrije has been rocking a 4-inch fan because that's what I had. And I just, I didn't feel the need to, when I got a tent, just upgrade because of upgrade. Change for the sake of change is dumb. So I finally upgraded it and got the 6-inch fan in there so I can use my 4-inch fan kind of either in a dry tent or doing other things, nice to have because it's really, I'm dealing with a shit ton of humidity right now too. So it is already paying for itself. And I got one of those reusable filters. The
reusable filter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the 6-inch. So I'm excited about that. That's pretty cool.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Dude. I got really, you know what? I opened the box and put it in, obviously, because I got the new fan. And I will say, as much as I was stoked to get it and put it in, I really didn't want to do it in the middle of fucking flower. And because of the fan, I had to actually take the fan out of the 2x4 with a large tangy in it and move that to the old one and put the new one in that. So I had this massive flowering plant as I'm moving shit around. And I do everything so gracefully. I'm just moving shit and swearing. And I'm like, fuck. And Megan's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm just putting up a fan.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
So side question to that, while you were moving, did you get itchy at all?
When touching the fan?
Touching the plant.
Touching the plant? Absolutely.
The plant and moving it.
Absolutely. Dude, I have such bad reactions to the touching plants, like in general, right? My skin is a fucking mess. Fuck that island my family came from. But seriously, like everything, right? Like if too much of anything will get me going. But yeah, especially I've noticed tangy is tangy, and I think the worst was God, I want to say Galaxy Brain. One of them was just I touched and like I had to shower. It was so fucking bad, dude. Like I always have to shower, but like like that feeling of like, oh no, I got to get in the shower right now, even though I know it's not going to help. Yep. But I showed Grateful when he was over at my house. But the key is, and Stoney will give you a technical reason, but I use olive oil to get that shit on my before the soap, and then you can wash it off pretty fairly easy. I'm sure there's some scientific reason, but I just know that the oils work to get it off.
Another side note, so the itchy on the skin, before you explain how to get it off, the itchy on the skin, does it also, you notice that certain strains will make you sneeze as well? Like give you some sort of allergic reaction. It almost feels like you're in a fucking almost like hay fever reaction.
Yeah, it's a histamine. Same.
You're having an allergic reaction to it.
Yeah, your receptors are like, what the fuck, and they're just like, going off of me, get it away from me. So it's sending out all the signals to like, hey, this is not good. I'm gonna make you sneeze and get it out of I'm gonna make your skin itch and red and get away from this thing. Yeah, they're histamines, especially when they're in that really sticky phase, when the trichomes are really like full at that stage. They are trying to protect themselves because they're at the peak of flower. So even like the motion of them, if you go and rattle and shake them, they will like begin to emit that sort of level of histamine to it. It can be really aggressive. That's really aggressive for people. Yeah.
I get super fucking red and itchy and shit. And then I had somebody reach out and was like, hey, I got really sneezy off that product you gave me. I was like, that's not like I normally do. That's not abnormal for that to be a thing. Like if you've never had that happen, it's not abnormal. I don't want you to think like there's any, like you're getting sick or anything like that, sweetheart. Like it's okay. Obviously, like you're not going to die. Like I have it happen, but I'll be sitting there and I'll be sharing a J with 3 other people and I'll get a reaction to it and they'll all be fine. It's weird. So it's like, is it me? Is it
well, on that thought and that kind of logic, it's funny because I will get any skin irritant, but I do not ever get any like allergies and sneezing or hay fever, any of that stuff. But like poison oak has legitimately put me in the hospital and almost killed me like on 2 separate occasions where it has gone internal and I've had to take steroids like just to fight to keep my windpipe from getting swollen shut and shit. Like it's really bad skin irritants, but I never get the sneezing or anything like that. So it does completely affect, because that same plant might be a mild skin irritant to you, but make you sneeze like crazy. It's just the, like Stoney said, the histamine, the histamine's going fucking crazy.
And some people develop it because it's an allergy. So some people, the more that you're around it, the quicker that, or the more you're impacted by it. So, like if you work around it quite a bit, and you're around it all day and all the time, and you have a slight sensitivity, you more than likely will develop some higher level of sensitivity to it. They're pretty vicious plants.
There's been strains that I've had around, like, and this is before I even put 2 and 2 together kind of thing, but it's like looking back now, it's like, I remember distinctly being fine at home. And then all of a sudden I'm having allergic reaction to whatever the fuck. And I'm just sitting here relaxing, smoking my fucking nightly joint. And now all of a sudden I can't taste my dinner. It's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
I always just assumed like, I don't know what I stirred up or whatever else. But yeah.
Sometimes I get clogged up in the nose if I'm in full flower and I'm down there and I'm moving around, or I'm like, especially when I go in and do that late flower defoliation, when I start pulling and yanking on it a little bit, they start getting really loud, and I like, my eyes will start to burn a little bit at times. Sometimes it just is a little bit overwhelming, but some people will end up taking Benadryl, but I mean, we're not around it a lot. So, but some people will develop it from the actual burning of the flower, or even just being around it to grind it and touch it too. Could you imagine if you weren't able to like grind it, like, or even,
yeah,
that would be tough, man.
Uncle Chat GPT told me pinene and limonene are two terpenes that are very high, like very likely to make you sneeze.
Really?
Oh shit.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Shit.
I mean, like it makes sense. Like everything about this plant, I don't know, it's kind of, I don't know, mystical, or it's just trying to destroy everything around it. Like it produces trichomes as like UV resistance, like a defense barrier. It does other things because it thinks insects are eating it. It's producing all this stuff to either detract from eating it from some people, or like us stoners, we love to smoke it. So it's just kind of cool how it does all these different things.
Yep.
And they all, yeah.
Beautiful.
Like, I mean, tomato plants, like I grow a tomato plant. I like to have the tomato, but nothing else about that plant is at all remarkable to me. It's just the tomato that came off. Well, this plant is a heck of a lot more than we think it is, and it's just a flower. It's doing so many other things that it's pretty cool.
One of those really cool charts that you see pop up all the time are like they take a picture of a cannabis plant and then draw what you can make from each part. Like you can get ointments from roots and, you know, fiber to make, and they break down some of the things that you can make with the fiber. You can use these leaves to do this and this. And it's always hilarious because how many more plants, I mean, like theoretically, most plants you can get some additional benefits for, but not to the level that cannabis has been used. And it's a lot of times might not be as useful as people think, but it still gets used, right? Like how many people buy shit with pot leaves in it that are just there?
I have to admit, I was pretty much, I still am an idiot, but I was going to say I was even more of an idiot maybe a few weeks ago. I listened to another podcast that's interviewing some real old heads in the game that have quite literally done time for the plant, or have known people killed over it. And they're telling their story. And they went into talking about hemp being such a foundational thing to civilization. Like it is, I mean, they made ropes and sails. Like people weren't going across seas and shit if it wasn't for hemp, because of the sails that were made. And it's pretty cool how far back this goes and how much it was used even before we knew any of like the psychoactive pieces of it. It's just because the material itself was useful for papers and cloth and stuff before we had like cotton and all that other stuff.
You've got some of our early founding fathers that, as much as stoners like to make the joke that they grew pot, were really growing hemp because it was exactly what was needed, right? Its resourcefulness caused it to be worth money. But yeah, it's amazing. And you look at some of the benefits versus listening to someone who has to have served time for possession is makes you lose your mind, man. But
yeah, it makes you realize the year that we are actually in, right? And the time that we are in, and that we get to, you know, collectively grow our own medicine, to collectively do what we want. And oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Emperor wears no clothes.
He had to go get the book.
The actual
still
one.
Muted.
And he's still muted, Johnny.
Everybody's muted. Howling's muted. What a wonderful time to be muted. It's a mute party. Stoney and I are carrying the ship. Johnny's still muted. He does not know how this thing works.
He's carrying on his own show, dude.
There he is.
So I had
you were
to go
so
get
fired
it
up too. You were all stoked, and I'm just like,
And then, well, the thing is I opened it up, and you guys, I can tell by looking at it, and I'm sure you guys might be able to too. But I literally, this is fucking hilarious. I pressed a leaf inside of the pages. Emperor wears no clothes. What do you think it is?
That's a giant one.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
No, there might be
a nice looking leaf.
I thought it might have been a tangy. Yeah, looks like a goddamn.
Sure,
tangy.
Looks like it, doesn't it?
It might not have been. Now that I'm 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Yeah, 11. It's an 11.
Nice.
You know what is?
But
super
it is
funny.
It's perfectly pressed, by the way. Holy shit!
It's so you just I've never pressed a leaf in a book. You just put it between the pages and
wait.
That's it.
Literally just
and the pages will like kind of lick out the water and leave it nice.
Literally,
what I do. I was gonna say what's funny is I have taken a leaf and pressed it from like the majority of my recent harvests. Right, I constantly forget it and will find it and go, this is awesome. And then by the time I decide to do something with it, I've broken it or completely destroyed it. So I'm like, why do I keep doing this? But I'll put down some like parchment paper. Yeah, I put down some parchment paper, and then I'll stack a couple books on top of it, and then do another pile, and that way. And then months go by, and I'll go find it again and go, this is cool, and then put it back in its spot, because I have very little time for any more art. And to be honest with you, I'm not very good at art, so it's lost on me.
I was going to say you just don't read too many books, and that stack has been sitting there for so long.
That's 100%. I forgot that was even. I wouldn't even remember fucking doing it. That's the wildest part of it. Holy shit.
I was having a conversation with Megan over Christmas, and we were talking about something, and I couldn't exactly recall what brought it up, but we were talking about how out of practice like I am at English. Just imagining me trying to write a paper right now, like I do not have the mental fortitude for it. Like I would start and I would stop and go, nothing is worth me finishing this. Like it is so funny how you just lose those muscles, and like I have no interest in continuing it, right? Like I will constantly read poetry, but I just have lost any interest in like deeper analysis of it. And it's like, who cares? Like not in a bad way, like do it. I am encouraging you to do it. But for me, it's like I've done that. It's no longer as fun as I've got other stuff to do. You know what I mean?
The English major that forgot everything about English and knows everything about math and CNC machines. Yep.
Yeah, it's wild. It's like a different life, man.
Not
only that, but I really, like ultimate goal was to be a writer, and I haven't written in forever. And I'm not complaining or missing it, man.
I think all you would have to do nowadays, instead of writing, just sit down and put the mic in front of your face.
I was going to say you're an orator.
Exactly. Yeah,
I would die. Do you know from firsthand experience how long it takes me to sit down and record anything that you ask me to do? It has to be complete spur of the moment with my friends. Writing things down and reading it. Like when I did that when I was making fun of that dude who yelled at his own fans, and I had to record that, and we did that at the front of our episode. It probably took me like 30 minutes of reading it without just fucking giving up and being like, I don't care enough. The next one is the take. And that's what
you were doing that. No, but you were doing that for the audio. If you did it just talking and let the text come.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. That would be better, but it would probably be infuriating to hear my own voice that up much, like reading it back or like transcribing it back. Moving on. Let's talk about cool stuff.
No, Stoney hasn't addressed his Christmas yet.
That's right. I was trying to pass it to Howling, but Stoney's a better choice.
Because Stoney was the one I was thinking about, of course, is the obvious answer, getting loaded up. So I wanted to save his answer for last.
What was my obvious answer?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Howling was the obvious one. I'm sorry. Obvious was of course he got something.
Stoney started sweating. He's like, oh shit, did I say something?
No.
What did I
No, Howling. I'm sorry. My English is also.
I got one thing grow related. It was the high velocity bars, or whatever they're called, the high airflow bars for your tent to stop the sides caving in, because I got those two big drowsies that are going in the 2x4, and just even that I never had this much of a problem. Like I need at this point every inch of horizontal space, so I need to put those bars on. So I'm super glad that I got those. They are going to go up pretty soon, because that you could just look in through the window and you just see kind of the plants squishing a little bit, and it's like, that's not cool. Yeah. And with all that plant material, the fan's always running, so it's always doing that. So I'm stoked to get those bars in.
Hell yeah. I've got those on my 4x4s. I've got them around just the 3.
Well, now I want the 4x4
third side.
Yeah. You don't put it on the main spot where you open the door. You don't put one there. Yeah. Nah. I saw some people, like, it's made to do that. I was like, that's going to be a pain in the dick.
Mine is too, and I was constantly moving. It was constantly.
Yeah, no way. I'll settle for 3 walls out of 4. That's fine.
Yep. Now, funny you mentioned, mine is made out of PVC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I should have. I have all the 4-way pieces or whatever that can just kind of, and they're already like sawn. They were meant for, I forgot what the fuck I was going to do with them before. I think it was actually for like a scrog net or something.
Yeah. And for your
Oh yeah, I have those. Yep.
For your big bed.
So like I could have done that, but you know what? This is nice. They're not actually.
And you would have just drilled the hole, right?
Expensive.
You wouldn't have put screws in that.
No, with those, I literally, when I was assembling the tent, I put PVC over my legs at the bottom and put one of those 4-ways in, and then just connected from the rails.
Smart.
Yeah. I see what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah. And then in my 2x4s, when I have that issue, all I've started using was the bamboo to scrog, and that really helps it too. But yeah, those high fucking volumes are absolutely a game changer as far as like when you're overgrowing like that.
I mean, I could have just used plastic hangers like I see some people do, but where's the fucking fun in that? It's not Howling Tech unless I can buy it.
What about you, Stoney? You used that line already.
I know, right?
Well, I mean, like my quote unquote Santa or big Christmas gift to myself was the soil. Like, and I've been kind of slow. That was my big investment into the year. But I guess there was one little gift that's so I got I went to go clean everything out before this round, and of course I lost one of the silicones for my Autopot. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna like go on Autopod and buy a whole pack of seals, because I went and I looked everywhere in my fucking basement. I couldn't find. I swear that I had gotten in one of my orders, like I'd thought of this, like buy myself a set of backup of everything. Just, you know, I'll have a backup set.
Like the little O-ring seals,
the little tiny blue in the Autopots that are like they're just silicones, and they're cheap. They're only like what 6 or 7 cents a piece, you know. And so I remembered one of the orders that I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna buy a whole replacement set, because you never know, and at some point I'm gonna need to replace them. I spent fucking an hour trying to find it in my basement, and I could not find this fucking thing. So my Christmas gift was like, you know what, I need to order them anyways, because I'm gonna need them for this run. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get another XL bucket to kind of round out the 5 in the 10th, so I would have this nice large bucket. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get the air dome too, and I'll just, you know, I'll get a whole nother setup for it. Just need a little bit of tubing for it. So that was my gift, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and get the whole set. So I got the whole set like, I don't know, a week before Christmas or whatever. Took the silicones and was, you know, must have had some sort of thought in my head. Lost my camera. Somehow must have had some sort of thought in my head, and decided to like go search for these things. Couldn't fucking find them. Couldn't fucking find the silicones that I had bought just a week before.
Oh my God, no.
Jeez.
Yeah. So we're talking these little tiny 6-cent pieces, right? And then the shit kicker is, in the process of trying to find it, I lose them, right? Or I find the ones that I had lost before. So I found the original set.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And
lost
so then
the new ones completely.
Lost the new ones.
You know what it was? Is someone stole them, and then you bought new ones, and they're like, fuck it, I'll take the new ones instead, and brought you back.
No, they were just in the bottom of the fucking pot that I didn't look in. I looked everywhere else, in every basket, every nook, every cranny.
You put it in a spot to remind yourself too.
And I left it in the fucking Autopot. So.
Do you know the hardest things for me to find is the shit I put intentionally somewhere so that I don't fucking lose it? I always lose that intentional thing. It's like, if I would have just left it out where the fuck I had it, I would have fucking remembered I left it there. But nowhere, I intentionally put it at the end of fucking being high and stupid. It's like, you dumbass.
There is absolutely nothing more annoying than when I'm setting up a machine on one side of the shop and I keep setting all my tools on the other side, and I have to walk back and forth, and it takes me 20 minutes to do a 5-minute job because I'm like, it fucking left it. Yeah, it is my ever.
I was just doing that today, working on that desk I was working on for my daughter. It's like,
which looks wonderful, by the way.
Thank you. I was considering, I have a sander in my truck, which is on the other side of my 1-acre property. I was like, oh, fuck, I got to go all the way to my truck to grab that sander. Fuck, I really need to buy another sander so that I don't have to walk that, and I can keep one in my truck. And then it was like, you lazy son of a bitch, walk your ass to the fucking truck.
No, I do it with my grow room too. Slowly over time, different tools from the house, like scissors, or I might need wrenches or screwdrivers or whatever. And I got tired of going upstairs to go grab the shit. So I have like my own toolbox and everything down there.
There you go.
Yeah.
I have to double up on garden tools. I will admit to that.
Yeah,
100%.
I will say though, growing, we always advocate for growing your own. Obviously, it would be silly to host a growing podcast and be anti-home grow. Although it would be funny to start petitioning to ban home grow in states as a grow podcast. Anyhow, it is one of multiple benefits, but one of the fun benefits is that you do end up purchasing things that you can use elsewhere in your house for because you'll need it for one specific reason in the grow, but then you're like, oh, it has so many other uses. I think I have one of those digital thermometers because of grow, right? Obviously checking VPD, you need to do temperatures, but now I use it in the kitchen all the time.
Mm-hmm. I've used I didn't really know about Dr. Bronner soap until I started to fucking grow, and using Dr. Bronner soap instead of fucking what's that really foamy stuff, Q-Yaha or whatever. I use Dr. Bronner just a fucking dribble or two of that, and it does the same goddamn thing, and it's all natural, just the same. It's like Dr. Bronner's, and then cleaning my tents, Dr. Bronner's. It's like, oh yeah, and then fucking dogs can get bathed in it too, and neem oil, and
I don't think that sunk in. Like I was buying it beforehand, mostly just because of the claims of being like all natural and it's free of stuff and everything. And I started getting into that a bit more when my youngest was born. And but then when I started growing, realizing shit, I can spray this crap on my plants and it's all good. It's like, I mean, how much more natural can you get when So I think that was pretty cool about growing, is to teach me about some of these other things that rather than just reading a label and that's good for my skin or something, it's truly natural. Otherwise it would be killing these plants and destroying crap. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's another check mark.
You like that
reasons you should grow yourself.
If we weren't taking care and learning and doing better for these plants, we'd be like that evil kid on the first Toy Story. What was his name? That fucking burned all the toys and shit. It's like, this is all we're doing to these fucking plants. That's funny though. Is that a Christmas movie? It's not a Christmas movie.
You in your life, maybe. Johnny, what did you get for Christmas that was considered? And now, before you get angry, do Grinches technically celebrate Christmas?
No, not really. Mostly it's just opening the wallets a little wider at this time of year for the children.
There you go. Well, did you get anything that you can use in your grow?
No, because around my homestead, I kind of took all right, we're at an age now and it's all becoming mundane to some extent. Like if I want it, I'm going to buy it. Or if you want it, you're going to buy it. So I don't want to do the gift card shit anymore for people. And it's just like, let's stop. Let's just stop. And let's focus on all the kids this year. So all the kids really benefited from really thoughtful and financial and everything like that. And we did more nothing for the adults. So the only thing grow related I sort of got was a basket for gardening. So harvesting,
that's cool.
Can put in this little basket or whatever. That's the only thing really grow related. So
hell yeah, man. Yeah. That's cool.
Anything grow related this year, I have to do it myself.
Oh my God. Are you going to bring her home? Are you going to bring her home?
No, I was going to let you do it.
No. All right, man. It's your idea, but I'll let you take the credit for it, but you should start it.
So I was considering buying myself a bokashi bucket for Christmas. And then I had this idea of a segment we could potentially introduce to the circle because of Howling Tech specifically. Made me question this very notion, the idea of buy versus DIY. And the bokashi bucket was my first thing because it was like, all right, I want to have one for here just so I can have it and use it. But I want to, my parents and my sister specifically in two different households keep bringing us their scraps and stuff to help feed the chickens. And it's helpful to some extent, but then it's like now my fridge is full of the shit that was in their fridge, and then we have to figure out what to do with it. Whereas if I just gave them a bokashi bucket and some fucking grain, then when it's full, they can bring it back to me, and then I let it sit for 2 weeks, and then I can feed it to my worms, and it's so much easier. But I went to looking like to see how expensive these things were to buy, and it was like, it's quite expensive.
I'm just doing it right now just to see what the prices were, and I would completely go against Howling Tech on this one. I mean, they start at like $40. They start
$40 like for a 5-gallon bucket
with a spigot on it. It's like, really? Like, what the
fuck?
The
spigot is what's really intriguing. I'm not gonna lie. The spigot is what's really intriguing. Now I know it's nothing to get a fucking bulkhead fitting with a fucking drain valve. If you look up a bulkhead drain valve, fitting,
I want to know what the price
is. Gatorade jugs for like $5 a piece.
So this is why, like in the home brewing world, there's bottling buckets that have a valve on them. They're basically like what you're trying to build. And I 100%. Did buy those because they didn't. Those were cheap items. Like they were stupid cheap. But like this grower's tax on this shit, I can't believe the price of these things.
That is
holy
wild.
crap.
So then,
essentially, isn't it a water cooler, right? Like the kind you got when you played football.
Oh, you can do that too. Yeah,
but this is uninsulated. Even they still put it.
Yeah. I know,
a 5-gallon. It's a.
But those aren't $40, are they? Like
plastic.
Yeah.
Yes, they're charging $44,
I'm
$45.
Looking at it.
Up to $100 for a 2-pack that come with the grain and et cetera, et cetera.
The grain is dirt cheap anyway. You should not be paying.
There's some sort of weird tax on buying it.
Green tax.
Like there's this one.
But it's not
there's this one that's it's $70, and it's you've ever seen like the plastic cat litter bins? They're like 20. So just think of a taller version of that a little bit with a spigot at the bottom. It is $70.
So let me ask you this, Howler. You said you had like a bottling bucket because I think I've seen those before. What did that cost you?
Oh, I mean, like $8. Like they don't.
You go to a grocery store.
So then,
and if I bought the bucket with the valve and then I do all that,
bottling bucket is what they're called.
Yeah, more than $8. Like that's
look that up. Look up what a fucking 5-gallon bottling bucket costs right now. It's fucking $15 compared to the 44, and it's the same thing.
So like even if you don't make it yourself, like okay, go get a fucking bottling bucket.
So that's where I was going. It's like one of the things in just like ways to innovate and ways to do things is like look at adjacent industries or look at adjacent things and see what they're doing and see if you could.
Well, that's what they're doing now with washing cannabis. It's like they're looking at the brewers now and they're using all the brewers' equipment because there is no one lazier on the planet than a fucking home brewer. And so they make
it's been around for.
You hear that, stoners?
Yeah,
and it's been around for decades.
And they build up these systems where it's all pumps and shit and automated things that move shit around, and like that's what now the the bubble hash people are doing is like they're looking at brewers.
It is funny that they're in another point for brewers. Part of the reason that we are able to source this from Megan's friend is because brewers buy up all the malted barley they can. So it's like another thing that we're stealing from brewers. Like, thank you for the availability.
Yeah. So to that point, I mean, there's probably plenty of pieces. I think we've talked about it before, Howler, on other episodes where you're like, I used to not use that, and now I use it for different things. And I wonder if that's sort of the short solution. Because to your point, Johnny, like it's simple for you, but I would get. Like I may not have all the things to just drill a hole that size and run a valve, or I don't even know the technical.
Here's the thing. No, go ahead. I'll let you finish that thought.
No, I don't have the confidence in it, and I'm sure that there's a lot of. I mean, I could do it. I can watch a YouTube and whatever, but to have that confidence in it, and so.
And that led me down this like YouTube rabbit hole of like, okay, DIY bucket. What does it really take? Then, I can't think of his name right now, but he's got a company now and he's an influencer, but he's not cannabis related. He's a San Francisco guy. Can't think of his name. Either way, he offers all sorts of gardening seeds, and he did a video about making his own bokashi bucket, and he set a brick in one bucket and raised his other bucket and drilled a bunch of holes. And then a dozen other videos are a fucking 5-gallon bucket with a airlock lid on it. You got to
Are
have
you
it
talking
airtight.
about
That's it.
epic
Like
gardening?
nothing. Epic gardening. Yes.
Dude,
Yep.
I'm disappointed. That motherfucker's from San Diego, homeboy, not San Francisco.
Sorry.
How fucking dare you?
Pool pond, whatever.
Exactly. Why does everything have to be San Antonio,
That is fair. I can give you a whole history why and what the mission is and why there's a trail of missions up.
But I'm in the Northeast, so I don't get taught about.
Basically, the reason why, in short, is the Spanish came.
Exactly.
But yes, San Diego. Yes, he did. I watched that same video. He does like a super elaborate and then I watched another video where, like we were talking, it's a 5-gallon bucket that the dude, you don't have to drill. You know, I believe that dude used like a hot iron, but regardless,
like a poker.
Yeah. You just need it to be the right diameter.
I didn't even know the ones I was seeing. There wasn't even holes. That's what I'm saying. I've seen multiple videos. They don't even put holes, no drainage whatsoever. My only curiosity is when they don't have the holes for the leachate to come out. Like, what is it? Just a fucking super moist? At that point, it's just super moist. I bet.
I wonder if you can get away with it if your next plan isn't to give it to your worms and if it's just to dig it into your soil, and you're just like, well, if it's extra moist, who gives a shit?
It's extra juicy or whatever. Down at the bottom.
Yeah. I'm curious. I like I said, I don't have the information. I don't currently bokashi compost. I was also looking to get into it. I believe Howling said that our one of our true friends, Grateful, just has put a video out on it.
Oh, he's made it dead simple to be able to do it. It's a easy to follow video. People should do it.
As Grateful, I'm pretty sure I have permission to say this, but he'll almost always be on team DIY. So him and I are going to vote the same. I say do it yourself, follow his video or follow any of the videos, or even Howling Tech here. I think this is going to be the first time universally that we all agree, but do a better version of Howling Tech, like search, find something in a different.
You can buy, just don't
buy
the gardening
bucket
stuff.
Yeah.
The other caveat to the whole bokashi bucket is I have been audio listening to bokashi composting book, and
as opposed to visual listening
instead of reading it. Yes, instead of audio listening. That was yes. Thank you. Well played.
Sorry.
I tried really hard to find something on the opposite of it. I couldn't put it all together.
I was like, I didn't catch it at first.
That was the best part.
Audio listening
to how long it took him to get it, like understand what was going on.
What the fuck how did you just burn me and why? Okay, good problem. No, but in that book they say it's almost impossible to replicate EM1 at home. The way you try to replicate it is through labs, but labs isn't EM1, and what EM1 actually is the essential microorganisms, and it's more than just lactobacillus. So it's beneficial to buy EM1 inoculated grain more so than it is to try and get it home, because it's not actually EM1. I don't know whether
EM1.
Wait, is the EM1? The EM1 isn't inoculated grain.
Sorry, not the grain. Not to inoculate the grain. EM1 to inoculate your grain rather than just inoculating.
I
with
see what you're saying.
Okay,
when you're talking about making your own bokashi.
Yes,
and
instead
of
the bokashi bucket.
Yes, okay.
And that's what I said is something I heard. Now I'm a Neanderthal when it comes to listening, but what I heard was it's damn near impossible to actually replicate EM1 essential microorganisms at home to inoculate your grain with. Early into the understanding of this is kind of one of those rewinds. So don't take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of Johnny.
Only play a doctor on TV.
That makes some sense. Like, this is where people think that, like, when they make the rice wash labs, that's the same as like buying the bottle of EM1, which it's not. EM1 is actually not just lactic acid bacteria. It's a few other things that's in there. Like, I think there's yeast and there's like the photosynthesis plus type stuff. It's in there too. So yeah, like if you, I think you would have to do bokashi buckets when you want to reduce like your food waste going into a landfill, like that's really where it makes a lot of sense. But if your sole goal is like you just want that bokashi grain that you sprinkle on your top dress and stuff, then if that's your only goal, you might want to Howling Tech it and get the bottle and just get some oats and do it. I forget who does that. Is it Growing Organic does it? Oh, and Alabrije does it too.
Yeah,
that's how he does his bokashi. Like,
yeah.
So like, just decide what your intent is, and if you just want to reduce your food waste going out in the garbage, then get a bokashi bucket. If not, get a bottle of EM1 and some grain.
Does Dinosaur do it that way too? We just had Dinosaur on.
That's who I was trying to remember. Yes,
I was going to point out two things. Dinosaur and Ganic, shout out to listening to previous actual episodes. We've had conversations with those, but also Dinosaur, the fantastic man himself, does have a photosynthetic mix with like his sort of labs that would be closer to EM1. That is something you can make yourself. And if you want more, talk to him. He will gladly help you. But this wasn't about EM1, because I wanted to ask, when you are doing a bokashi bucket for your worm bin or for, to bury in the backyard, because in case not everyone knows, you put it in the bucket for, when it's full, you push it down for about 2 weeks, and then you have to further process it. You're not done with just that. So you can either bury it or you can give it to your worms or, something like that.
Or put it in a hot compost pile then.
Yes, or then go into another compost. But you're essentially speeding up the process. But do you need anything more than the lactic acid or lactic bacteria in labs? Or do you need the other micro? Or because you could be talking about how this has all these other microbes and they're unnecessary for the moment.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't gotten that far, because it was also like in diving deeper into bokashi buckets too, I've seen several people that say you want to make sure your food isn't starting to go bad already, because those will fight with the microorganisms. But then I've seen people putting fucking moldy bread in a bokashi bucket and it was absolutely fine, because it's almost like you're putting so much bokashi and labs grain, because it might just be labs. It might literally just be labs that is the winner in the bokashi.
Well, I know it would help, right? Because there's a reason you can use it as an organic Drano, is because it will break down and eat those is it proteins, right? That's what it starts breaking down and eating. So that's why you can use it in a chicken's coop and everything like that.
And that's probably what makes bokashi composting possible, because you can literally put meats and fats and grains and breads and all that shit, rather than your hot compost pile, which can only have greens and browns.
Yeah, and you can't
mix quite accurately, by the way.
Yeah, you can also do citrus, which is not something you can, like, if you had a citrus tree and you wanted to use your waste, you would have to bokashi bucket it before you could give it to your worms. But ultimately, you can, right? There's a solution to most every problem. The good thing about this fun hobby of ours is there's a lot of smarter people that have come before us.
100%.
Yeah, so we get to just listen to them teach. But yeah, no, I think we all kind of are in agreement on all of that, except for whether or not you need the other micro. Like if you don't need EM1 because the other microbes are useless in that process, not useless, but you know what I mean, like unnecessary.
Right. Well, then why not just spray it with labs?
Well, I think
that's what I'm saying.
What you do.
Yeah. Why waste the grain at all? Fuck it. Save the money on the grain. Just spray your bokashi with labs.
Well, so you need something to bind it to, right? Like when you put
you're binding it on that layer. So you put a layer in, you spray that layer, it would bind to whatever is there rather than the grain. Potentially.
But hang on. So I'll throw this out because I don't know for sure. Putting it onto a grain that's a converted sugar that gives everything food and energy,
like a guarantee inoculation.
Yep. It gives them food and energy. To the converted starches are easily broken down sugars and amino acids that probably feeds the colony, would be my guess. And again, I don't know that much about bokashi, but I would imagine that, because in my mind, the same sort of theory that I was talking to you about earlier is I just wonder instead of EM1, couldn't you use Photo Plus?
Well, there's no light, and those are photosynthetic bacteria.
Yes,
all of them. It's a pretty diverse
photosynthesis plus. I think it's one particular strain that they have pinpointed, which is a type of strain that's also in EM1. It's just that this is their proprietary one. This is how they've been able to find it, make it like shelf stable in a bottle and mass produce it. But I think it has to be tied towards like the photosynthesis, or not the photosynthesis of a plant. It's not something like labs, which is like a decomposition process. And they can absence of light, and then they also protect themselves with a pellicule on top of stuff. To make sure that there's no oxygen or anything like they.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Which actually, a side note, because I found out that I'm completely confused because we kind of crisscrossed two topics. There was one of like the process of use bokashi is a fermented thing, and that's what you're doing in the buckets. Where like there's bokashi grains, which is like anyone that's ordered from like Build a Soil and they get their like cloth bag of bokashi grains.
That's what you sprinkle in the bucket.
That is what you. Yeah. That is like the first step input to things, and that's what you can use, like some kind of microbial thing on that grain, and then that's the grain is what's sprinkled in the bucket. I didn't realize that.
I didn't know that. You know what? The first time I realized that too, it got really confusing because I was like, "Well, what is?" Yeah, no, it's great stuff.
That kashi grain you get from,
but you can replace that grain
or growing organic or whatever.
Yeah, so instead of using like the grain works well for like our top dress, but I think you can just use labs in the bokashi bucket. That takes the place of using the bokashi grains. Like the bokashi grains is just to get a food source and a microbe into that bucket. Labs is going to do the same thing.
That's what I wondered. Yeah, like
I think you can just
spraying it with a fucking heavy coating of labs over top of each layer.
I mean, that's really just what like FPJ.
If it's literally, it literally is only lactobacillus that does the process in bokashi composting. If it literally is just that one, but mind you, I was listening to the book, and the book was mentioning essential microorganisms, so it might not just be labs. Like, because if it was that simple, they wouldn't recommend
by the people who sell EM1, was it?
No, I have no idea.
And I know that you from the fermented plant extracts that you can get a pretty diverse colony as well. That it's not just the lab itself, that you're actually developing a colony with whatever you're fermenting as well into it. So it's interesting.
So in an effort to continue the episode going, we have, and to also shamelessly plug our Discord, we have a section in our Discord that's called episode corrections. So if you know the answer to this question, and you can save me a fuck ton of researching, just go to episodes corrections. And let us know, is it as simple as just spraying labs on each layer you put in? If you put a layer in, spray some labs on top. Is it that simple? Is it not? Do you need the essential microorganisms as well? Also, in these episodes of The Circle, Rev, you tend to ask us a question.
Yes. And if you'll know, the last time I asked a question, it wasn't seasonal. So you got one. This time it's motherfucking seasonal. This is the most obvious question ever. Stoney, what is your New Year's resolution, my dear friend?
I was really thinking that you guys were probably this was probably gonna come up.
Figure out how to get.
Everybody saw this coming. Yeah. Everybody saw this coming from like 6 miles away, homeboy.
I guess I've never really been resolute. Just I think the key is more intent. So this year I've got some pretty strong intentions ahead of me. So I'm not resolute in that, because I always feel like if I make resolutions, then my self-esteem doesn't do too well when I don't follow through with them. And I set standards and expectations of myself that really are too far out to really work towards. So oftentimes what I found of greatest success in is just intentions. So my intentions are set for this year. Like I know what I need and I know what I want, and I've got to figure out how to get there. So that's my intention. If I were to say I'm going to be resolute and I'm going to do this or not do this, then I probably would end up doing the opposite of it. And there was probably a reason that I needed to do the opposite of it. So no resolutions, my friend. And good, solid intentions this year, though. Something's changing. Something's got to change.
How beautiful. Unfortunately, that doesn't count. I'm going to need you to think of a resolution. No, I'm just kidding. Wonderfully put. I loved it. Howling, what about you? You also can do what Stoney said.
I will
repeat it word for word.
I will resolve to have intent to have a resolution. I gotta get back to enjoying life a bit, and I think 2024 sucked the souls out of us a little bit. And in this last year, I have lost my sight on quite a few things and lost the joy of doing some of the process, like even growing. It's been a struggle this year. So I want to get back to enjoying the process. I remember when I first started growing, I would sit down in the room. It could be 9, 10 o'clock at night, and I enjoyed it. But now it's 9, 10 o'clock at night. I'm fucking like just trying to zone out and forget the day. And that sucks. I want to get back to that. I want to get back to enjoying the process, like growing, but anything I want to pursue in the next year.
Oh yeah. Johnny.
I want to stop letting doubt be my excuse to be lazy.
That's a good one, dude.
Amen.
That is a fantastic one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just want to stop letting my fear of I can't do this be the excuse I don't get up and fucking do it. So
that's good.
Wonderfully put.
I got a lot of shit I need to finish that I'm afraid that I can't fucking do, and it's like you can just go fucking do it. So.
Wonderful.
How about you, Padre?
Well, you made it incredibly difficult to make fun of any of those, so I'm disappointed. I guess I'll think of my answer now. No, those were wonderful. I always, every year, resolve to just be a better version of myself. Often I've failed, generally, right? You don't generally drink yourself into oblivion if you're turning yourself into a better person. But the last 3 years I've been doing pretty damn good. So I'm going to keep building on that. There's a lot of things that I hope to accomplish this year because 2024 was a real low point for pretty much everybody. Like if anyone out there had a great year, don't feel bad.
Awesome.
I'm stoked you
awesome.
did. Yeah,
I'm glad
great.
you did.
But I don't think the general consensus was overly positive. I think we're all ready to kick its dick into the past, man.
Yes.
So, but I hope to do better. Just keep building momentum, and hopefully no more fucking people die. We can all hope for that for a little. 1 year would be nice, but yeah, man. I want YAG to continue to have fun and hopefully get everybody to Chicago. Celebrate the end of the year sort of next year, huh?
I do have one caveat to yours, Padre, and I want the diehards out there to be like Dale.
Yeah, man. Be like Dale. Not the ending bit, but the majority of the bit. I'm just kidding. Get a kick out of that. But yeah, man, I appreciate all of your guys' answers, and I think we can all do better. Not like in a bad way, like do better, you're doing bad. Everybody's doing a great job. We're all just trying the hardest we can. But here's to an easier upwards and onwards, right?
Here's to me. Here's to you. If we ever fight and disagree, fuck you. Here's to me.
Here's to me.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Happy New Year.
Peace. Happy New Year, man.
Enjoy it.
See ya.